reading the book of Exodus at the moment in the Bible. And like when in my younger days when I read the books in the Bible, sometimes I felt there was just too much stuff going on, and I just kind of blanked out for different reasons. And when I read it before, I interpreted it differently, and now that I'm grown up, I can see different layers to it, which is so beautiful in this journey of getting to know God and getting to know life and humans and everything else. So I reached Exodus 11, and I thought I'd share this with you. This is about Pharaoh, and so it's the part where God is going to send that final devastating blow to Egypt, and the firstborn sons were going to die. So basically, what had happened before that was that Pharaoh, the Israelites were in Egypt for about 400 years, from Joseph's time to now the time of Moses, and they were being oppressed, and they kept praying to God to release them and to release them from the suffering. And then God finally sends Moses, and Moses goes to Pharaoh and asks him to let his people go. And Pharaoh just doesn't, he says yes and no. He says no initially. He just keeps saying no, and Moses is persistent. He keeps going back. And there's the signs and wonders, and then God sends all of these different plagues to kind of trying to get Pharaoh to change his mind. But it just doesn't happen, right? And then there's this final moment where Moses tells Pharaoh, if you don't let my people go, all the firstborn sons, all the firstborn male children in Egypt are going to die. So God gave Pharaoh so many chances through all the plagues that he sent before. And you've got to understand that Pharaoh didn't know God. He was the most powerful ruler of the ancient world. And most of the value of his power came from the many huge structures he had built, the pyramids, the Sphinx, etc. There was no way he was going to lose his workers if he could help it, right? Because it's the Israelites who would actually, with their hard work and their hands and with their strength, he used the Israelites as the slaves to build all of this stuff. So if he had to let his workers go, it would show the rest of the world that he was weak and incompetent, right? What would his son think of him? It might mean the end of the Egyptian empire as we knew it. Everything that is Pharaoh, and his father and his grandfather had worked to achieve in this great nation would be finished. He couldn't bear the thought of that. He couldn't risk the Hebrews leaving. He had seen the signs and wonders that God had, put before him, and all of these plagues and the different things that had happened. But there was just so much at stake that he didn't want to let the people go. I thought I'd share this with you because sometimes when you see things through a different perspective, sometimes we look at a person, and we tend to judge them because through our sets of values, right? We tend to look at them and think, oh my gosh, what this guy is doing is so wrong. What maybe if we look at some of the world leaders, I'm not going to name any, but if you look around and you will look at some world leaders and you think, oh my gosh, this guy, what he's doing is so wrong. And I'm sure you'll think of one or two people. But the thing is that we don't, there's a lot at stake for them. Their values are different. The way that they have been brought up is different. Their thought process is different. And the best thing that we can do for them is pray for them. In this situation, God tried so much to change Pharaoh's heart. But Pharaoh had years and years of conditioning, right? And generations of conditioning. He didn't know this God. He didn't know this guy. And this story is told from the point of view of the Egyptians and their oppression and their journey. And I just thought I'd like to put Pharaoh's perspective into the mix here. I'm not saying what he did was right or wrong or anything like that. But I just want to point out that we are all God's children. And that person, whether it's a person who you personally know, who's being a real pain in the backside right now. And we kind of think what he or she is doing is so wrong. It just might be that we need to look at it from a different perspective and look at it through their eyes, look at it through their suffering, through their the things that they might have gone through or the way that they have been brought up. All right, always helps to look at it from a different perspective. That's all I wanted to share with you today. I'll talk more about Exodus and the things that God reveals to me next week. See you later. Have a lovely day. Enjoy the sunshine or the rain or whatever it is that God is giving you today. God bless you. Share this episode if you like it. Leave me a review. That would be amazing. God bless you. Bye.